Now, last time we discussed this, I talked to Republican Congressman Barry Moore, who dismissed this compromise from the right. Today, different conversation. Joining me now is Lou Correa, Democrat of California, who, along with several other Democratic members of the House, has previously called the proposal inhumane. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. All right, so look, I get that this is imperfect. I get that you don't support aspects of it. But if this doesn't happen, doesn't that ensure that, A, no progress is made in more funding for processing cases at the border, and B, you don't get the dreamers having a path to citizenship?
Number one, let me say that we're here to roll up our sleeves and do what's best for America and for the American people. Immigration reform, our economy, record unemployment rate, all screams we need immigrants working in this country. I'm here to work with people. What I don't want is to start to fix the problem from false narrative. I'm willing to work with people, okay? You talk about border security. This issue isn't about the border. It's about an unstable Latin America. It's about an economy in the United States that needs the workers, and about a refugee crisis. I've been to the border many, many times. This last year, I went to visit the Ukrainian refugee camps. Now there, I got to tell you, we did it right. Brought in the refugees, kept them in Tijuana, Mexico, processed them, and moved them into the U.S. It was a very interesting, orderly way of doing things, and in my opinion, the way you're supposed to do it. I remember walking in, there's this young lady from Las Vegas to pick up her parents. She walked in and said, "These are my parents," did the paperwork. They were on their way into the United States. Everything worked the way it's supposed to work.
So you've laid out your vision, right, for how it's supposed to work. You've obviously studied this issue, so you know it well.
It's one vision. It's one vision.
But it's not. But it's not one vision. I mean, the bottom line is that there are completely different visions out there, and my concern is that you're saying you're willing to roll up your sleeves, but then I read the statements that you've made, calling the compromise effort inhumane. You've criticized it sort of line by line about the problems that you say it could lead to longer jail records, extended time with limited access to legal counsel. This inhumane proposal would also bar recipients from receiving green cards. I understand those are your positions, but unless there's compromise, you're not going to get anything done.
Those are the facts, and we need to compromise. But that proposal, it was rolled out, helped the dreamers, but went after TPS holders. You can't do both at the same time. They're essentially both working people in the United States, have earned, I believe, the right to be here, to continue to work legally. So why do you throw one group off the boat and support the other?
Because the reason...
Humane immigration policy.
I'm going to give you the most sort of base reason. The reason... because you got to make compromises. Because there's going to be an ugly compromise here that you're not going to be happy with in the end. It's not going to be perfect. But to get anything done, am I wrong? You're going to have to sort of give?
It's been, you're right, but it's been 35 years since we've had meaningful immigration reform. And in those 35 years, we essentially built the border wall. Where was the compromise there? 35 years of investing in border security, 35 years of building that wall under Clinton, Obama. But you're talking about a compromise. There was nothing there. I'm willing to sit down and work with people who want to work with me. Okay, but telling families we are going to make you criminals because you're already here and because of this legislation you no longer are eligible, that's incorrect.
But you're not going to get better. That's the concern. You have to be practical. No, well, am I being too idealistic here in saying that you have to be practical if you want to get anything done?
This isn't about ideology. It's about looking at the facts. These TPS holders are working in the United States. Dreamers are working to the United States. They have jobs. Why do you go after one group or the other? Let's sit down and work out a compromise. What's a compromise? Investing more in Central America, Latin America, stabilizing those economies, like the Ukrainian situation I discussed. All the European countries are taking in immigrants. So we need to work with Mexico, Canada, and the others to work with us to take in refugees. We can work this thing out.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.